On tonight's episode of the DOD45 Show, we get to hang with artist, author, producer, and rapper Barfly of Oldominion, Nite Owls, The Saturday Nights, Candy's 22, and more. So take a load off, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
DOD45.
This is the DOD45 Show, drawing over discussions 45 minutes with a special guest. Welcome. I'm your host and resident artist, Ty of Art by Ty, and with my co-host, Adrian Taiwali'i, we're having conversations with people who I admire and am inspired by. On this episode, I'll set a 45-minute timer, put my pen to the paper, and we'll learn about our guest through an interview-style discussion. So stay right here with us to experience some laughs and maybe even learn a thing or two.
DOD45.
Greetings, humans. Okwa Tenzin Wan. Malo Adrian. How are you today?
How are you today? Don't ask me how I am. Who cares?
Whoa. All right. Well, we're off to a good start, everyone's.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm alive. The other night, I ran into some people and I was asking them, what's your favorite term for like when someone asks you, how are you? I've always really liked, I'm on the right side of the concrete.
You mean your favorite answer?
Yeah, favorite answer. I like that one. Sometimes you don't want to be like, I'm really, really good. Because you don't.
Whoever said that.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes like, well, I'm trying to think. I just remember maybe 15, 20 years ago. This had shoot. I don't remember what the conversation was, but yeah, you kind of don't want to be like, oh, I'm really good. Oh, yeah, shoot. You and I had this conversation a long time ago. A long, long time ago about saying like, oh, I'm really good. Because you don't want to say that because someone might not be really good.
That's
but then you also don't want to be.
People can get hurt if you're doing good and they're not. That's okay.
Well, yes, I agree. But you also don't want to be like, life is shitty, and then go into a whole diatribe of why life is shitty. So my normal answer is usually like, I'm alive. Well, ever since the pandemic, that has been my answer. I'm alive, and that's good enough.
If you're good, if people are curious and they actually care and they ask with like authentic curiosity, they should be happy if you're happy.
Well, I was authentically curious of how you were today.
But I specifically asked you, don't ask me how I am on the show.
You did ask. Did you ask? You asked me?
Because I don't. Because it's like we were just in the kitchen getting coffee, and now you're like, "How are you?"
Yeah, but I didn't ask you how you were in the kitchen.
No, but you never ask me how I am.
Oh.
So it just is weird.
I do ask you how you are.
I
do. I guess I don't do it that way. I say, "What's up? What's your plans today?" Huh? I don't know.
Oh, it just seems weird. It doesn't matter. It just seems Barf Loko. We got Barf Loko today.
Yeah. That's right. People just heard that on the intro.
Is that
Yes, it is.
Is that actually what it is?
Well,
I thought it was Barfly.
It's Barfly, aka Barf Loko.
Is it Barf Fly?
No, Barfly. You know what a Barfly is?
A fruit fly, probably.
No. It's funny that it has two different meanings. So Barfly is for men is someone who spends a lot of time at the bar, like sits at the bar, like a
couch potato for the bar.
Kind of, yeah.
Is min spelled M-I-N?
No. Did I say it like that? Jesus. Well, I didn't say male or female. But kind of like a Charles, like a Bukowski. He's definitely like a barfly. Someone that would just sit at the bar by themselves, usually by themselves. But for women, they say, or women, they say, it's also a term for a woman that just hangs out at the bar, just a Lucy. What do they call it? Like a Lucy? Is that what they call them?
A loose lady?
Yeah,
I don't know
something.
what you're saying.
That's what I'm trying to say. Well, yeah, I can't remember, but yeah.
A horror?
Well, yeah, that hangs around the bar just waiting for a guy to go home at night. But what's the difference? A barfly is a barfly. Why did they add that connotation to the women's part? I don't know.
I figured it was like the little gnats that go into the wine, like a fruit fly.
No, yeah, it's actually a barfly is actually like someone that has
Barf
has
Loko. I
a
thought
whiskey neat at the bar.
I thought that Barf Loko was a autocorrect on your phone.
No, but it's funny you say that because since it is Barf Loko, I was mentioning about quotes. Mm-hmm. Well, this isn't really a quote; it's more of a lyric, and it's not even really a lyric. So maybe it is a quote. But it came up the other day, and it was, "Who you trying to get crazy with this? Eh? Don't you know I'm loco?"
Do you not remember? That was me.
I know it was you. You said that. Or you didn't say that. You said something.
Yeah.
And then
you had to play Cypress Hill all day.
I didn't play Cypress Hill all day, but I played it for a minute. When Cypress Hill comes on, I don't know. I really like it. I haven't heard Cypress Hill in a long time.
I realized that your problem of having a hard time accepting and discovering new music, I have the opposite problem.
You won't listen to old
music. Of going
music.
back and listening to music.
Well, you keep saying that. I don't have a hard time accepting new music. I don't spend as much time looking for the new music like I used to.
I don't keep saying it. You brought it up.
No. Oh, well, sorry. Yeah. I guess when you edit episodes, you hear something come up over and over and over again. But, yeah, I since doing the show, I have definitely built a much larger music collection of music. Mostly all in the same genre, but yeah, I have been finding new music. Did we say on a show already about Bandcamp's new
I don't remember.
You can make playlists and stuff on there now?
I know that
they
we've talked about it,
show.
but I don't. Oh yeah, sure.
Hey, I have something that I want to do. And I was going to bring it up on the show so I can't immediately get shot down. I would like to. All right, let me.
By me, I don't have a problem.
I know. Let me rephrase this. Here, I have this idea.
Ideas.
That's true. Oh, my run. Quick side detour. On my run this morning, I was thinking about why am I not a great collaborator? Like I was never really good at collaborating. And I was going through that in my head while I was running, and I was thinking, for some reason, I was thinking like, well, after an episode's over, I feel bad. Like when we end the episode, it's over. You're like, they go away, and like there's stuff I wanted to say, like that's not on air, but I want to be like, hey, we'll send you blah 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 blah. I think other shows usually have like an intern or someone that they send after the show ends. The guests goes and gets the fill-in information from not from the host but from someone else that works on the show. So I was having this thought like, who could we have do that? And then I was like, well, no one. We work so many crazy different hours and
kind of different jobs.
So I started thinking maybe I'm not a good collaborator because I'm constantly like filling my plate with more work, and so like even in bands it's hard. I'm like, we should be working on this nonstop. And other people are like, well, I got a life. I can't do it. Or I guess what came to my mind was like, well, the reason it works perfectly with you is because there's only two people I know in my life who work harder and more than I do. Not trying to say like, oh, I'm a hard worker, but one was my dad and the other is you.
I work hard at doing nothing.
No, it's not true. I'm just kidding. You know how to, but we got to do
also, I always think of, like during the pandemic when our work shut down, I thought, well, I better get a job. But then I'm like, oh shit. Not only do I not have any like actual skills that would be employable, like there's nothing. I mean, anyway, but I also do not work well with others. Yeah, and I've frequently thought of that I need a t-shirt Not that I would wear it that says does not work well with others. Like, I just don't. I can't even work with you aside from like this.
No, it's true.
Because you have to have your music, which is all old music, and that I can't hang.
It's surprising you say that because most of my music is new music, but yeah.
New old music.
Well, yeah, we'll just make a good team. And then I started thinking, well, also there's a good contrast. Like, I'm overly excited about shit, and you're overly unimpressed with shit.
I thought you were going to say I'm underly excited.
No.
Would that be the right thing? Underly excited?
Well, that's funny. On my
under?
run, I was going through those words too. I was like, what would it underly excited? And then I just figured, no, overly unimpressed. So it's a perfect balance. But I do tend to detour, and it's a perfect opportunity for the phrase that I hate. I digress. But I was talking about, I would really like to go to, so we have to drive back to Utah, right? So our daughter can go to Washington, D.C. for her school.
For smart things.
For smart things, because she's smart.
Smart people things.
For her scholarship thing. Anyway, I want to go to, AWOL one's having an album release show in Los Angeles at B-Side. Something kind of small, but it's on that Sunday. But my idea is, it is just Los Angeles, so from our Utah house, it's really an hour and a half flight. Like, I was thinking we could go. Prior to it, I would reach out to people that we might know in Los Angeles, and maybe it would be like an opportunity to go to Los Angeles and maybe even stop in at some galleries and try to, work that angle. We do need to be back in Utah because then we got interview with DJ Abilities, and then on Tuesday. But we could go out on Sunday. That show's on in the afternoon on Sunday. But then I want to go to Saeed's album release show with Saeed and Gel, and that's in the Bay Area on the 31st.
Yeah, we can't be going back and forth to.
It's an hour flight, so that's
it's an hour flight and then hundreds of dollars that we probably shouldn't be spending right now. And she gets in on the 31st.
Oh, does she? For sure. Well, we'll figure it out. But those are two things that I would really like to do. Somebody asked about my daily drawings, my daily 1 hour drawings. So I figure I real quickly answer how it happens. They ask how I do it. They're like, you only do these daily hour drawings, and are you only inspired by music? I'll do the real quick version and then they ask how I do them. The quick version is I just come outside and I set this 1 hour timer. By the way, I got a new timer because my other timer shit the bed, but this timer works perfectly. I just set the timer. I don't have any preconceived ideas. And then I go right back here. There's my record collection. I just grab a record. I have them lined up not in a specific order, but from here on out, I just grab the first one there. And whoever it is, I'll just look at the songs. I'll put it on my record player that's right here. And then I'll just look at the songs and then and then I play the album just nonstop for the hour. It's usually, if it's a full album, it's 2 or 3 full record flips, or I listen to the whole record 3 times, and I just draw one of the songs on there. That's how that works. But that's not how I always create. That's just for the 1 hour daily drawings. I don't have I was gonna show you some of them. Oh well, that's how I do those. Hey, thanks to everyone that's supported the book, or who pre-ordered a book. Those will be shipped out in June. Thanks for everyone who took part in March Madness and spent your monies with us. That's awesome. It helped us clean out a lot of stuff that needed to get into the hands of collectors and be on the walls of people. So we really appreciate you for supporting Art by Ty. Is there anything else? Anything you want to mention, Adrian, before I run down some stuff on our guest today?
Not really.
You were thinking you were going to.
I know I was going to, but
go ahead. We have a minute. He's not going to be here for a minute.
I recently put in a screen time on my Facebook and Instagram. 10 minutes is all.
Wow.
So that's cool.
Is it? For who?
Well, I just noticed since we talked about with Emcee that you get that dopamine rush every time, and you and I personally talked about this, but I deleted my news app off my phone a couple months ago. And after I just in the morning when I'm having my coffee, I check a couple apps and stuff. I'll sit there and I'll just stare at my phone waiting for something to click to I think to get that. And I've just been getting on Instagram and Facebook a lot, scrolling, doing nothing, wasting my time, wasting my day, and nothing. Just nothing, just sitting there because I've been a bit slower with work. So I was just like, well, this is stupid.
Well, I see.
That's all.
Yeah. Making improvements.
Nothing exciting.
Or if you want to call that an improvement. Yeah.
Well, it's just I've noticed.
If it has a negative effect on you, then
I'm just like, what am I doing? Why am I on here?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess people look at it all in different ways. Some people feel like they're gaining some sort of knowledge from it, and many people feel like they're losing knowledge. So.
I end up just seeing suggested things.
Yeah.
Ads and suggested
Oh, you can get rid of those. This will be the first time. Well, congratulations to you. Good job. No, really.
And also,
awesome.
real quick, I read a really good book. Really, really, really good book called Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver or something. And it was really good, and it was a perspective of a kind of rural. Did I say that right?
Rural? Yeah.
Rural kid from the Appalachian area in a small town and in the 90s-ish era, a little bit younger than us, but it was just really, really good.
Oh, good.
And for someone.
That's you're suggesting that to people to read? Yeah. Well, hey, look, you're suggesting books. You wouldn't think I would suggest books because I don't read, but turns out I have been reading recently. Now, this is the first time I really have been.
Your phone?
No. This book is okay. So this is the first time a guest has actually sent stuff to us.
Okay.
Prior to having a discussion with, which I really appreciated, and it was your idea to open the package. In the intro of his episode. That was always the plan, but then I started thinking like, what if there's something in there that I want to bring up on the show, and I don't want to have to discover it later. So I got into it, and I'm glad I did. So I did open it. So here's what came. So speaking of writers, so our guest today is a writer.
Oh, okay.
And he wrote this book, and listen.
Wait, hold it still so I can see the cover.
It's called Winding Up Strangers in Bars.
Oh.
I really, truly think you're going to like this. I'm only 20 pages in, but, it's hard for me to read because when I'm reading it, I start thinking about all these things that we have to do and whatever. But this is, I have read books before. I've read some Hunter S. Thompson books. I can read his writing because I feel like it's on the things he's talking about are like something I can understand. I don't have to think. I don't have to visualize anything. This is like if I was just hanging out with one of my friends and he's telling me these stories. It's pretty fucking great.
Let me see it.
It's called Winding Up Strangers in Bars. And there's a lot of stories. And this character goes to the bars and literally winds people up with some shit. Gets them, I don't know. I'm not a great reviewer also. So... But I would suggest anybody out there get it. I don't know how much I'll talk about it with him on our show, and I don't remember when it came out. So, he also sent this comic book.
We've been to Hamburg.
That book is really good. I'm telling you. I'll finish it and then I'll pass it on to you to read. He sent me this comic book that he wrote. That he did some comic.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah,
I was wondering why there was a random
comic book. I know because I don't do comics, but he did the first 16 pages. I think he did the artwork and the writing in there. It's really I went through the whole thing last night. It was awesome. Here's the cool thing about that book that Winding Up Strangers. It came with he had a CD for his group, or maybe it's just him. It's called Floods. What's the title? What's the Tentacles of Abraxia, I think is what it's called. You could only get that CD by ordering that book. I think that's brilliant. He also sent this other book, a book of writings, that came also with a CD, that you could only get the CD with the book. This he did with Graves 33s and himself. I haven't got into this one yet, but I really did. I really got into that Winding Up Strangers book. It's really good. I don't know if you can still get them or anything, but I don't know. It's up my. I don't know how to.
I guess it takes place in Europe. Just skimming through it, I saw the Vatican and Hamburg.
No, it's. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like a day. It's almost like not journal entries, but he talks about like today I went into the bar and I wanted to wind up some strangers, but on television, kind of a subplot. Well, I'm only 20 pages in, right? But a guy's. Well, shoot, I'm not going to. Yeah, I'm not going to explain the whole thing to you. It's really good. It's really. I don't read that much, so I'm not a great critic, but I'm really enjoying it. And I think that's good. That's a good sign because I don't read. And okay, sorry, I don't know. I was gonna say some other stuff. Tentacles of Abraxas is what it's called. Not I said Abraxia.
You're safe for everyone when you're alone, but you're a threat when you're lonely. Maybe Donald Trump can build a wall to guard the world against your longing. Ordinary people, they are not the same. They could never be like you. You're so fucking insane. The people have spoken their decree. What's in it for me? They wouldn't notice if you ghosted.
And that only came, and so to get that album, it only came with that book, Winding Up Strangers. So our guest Barfly, he's a member of Oldominion, which is a huge crew out of the Northwest. Many of the names
What kind of crew? What do you mean? Like a writing? Like graffiti?
A hip hop collective. A collective of.
I see it.
I think there are artists, DJs, MCs, like a whole collective of people.
Is that not him?
No, not that band. No. Okay. Yeah, that band is Old Dominion. The crew is Old Dominion. It's one word.
Oh.
It's one word. Old Dominion.
Got it.
Anyway, but there's many people in the crew whose names but a lot that I don't know. The names that I do recognize and that I know of are Barfly, our guest today, Mr. Hill, Coley Cole, Bishop I, Pale Soul, and Sleep. And Sleep I definitely know because on every single album that I have of his, it's Sleep of Old Dominion. I've been a long time fan of Sleep's, and I didn't realize a long time fan of a lot of people from Old Dominion. What we've discussed on the show before, the most of my music I discovered.
Henri Osborne.
Yes, and Henri Osborne. But yeah, what I was saying was, we talk about it a lot on the show. A lot of the music that I discovered wasn't through actually having an album of it. It was just people I was hearing about. So I didn't know, I knew of Old Dominion, I knew of the crew, but I didn't know any specific names out of it. Anyway, shit. So, well, that was the other thing that's a good point about us being together is I can sense sometimes if it's getting boring because you're like the bar for me for what I feel like the bar for like how most people, if they're watching the show, not everyone's all the way into our guests or whatever. And so anyway,
plus I have a glass face and you can see
I can see your eyes just glossing over. So he's in a Seattle crew called the Saturday Nights. It's like I'll just play you the music. That's what I'll do.
I've been living my life in the days like a rat in a maze, and in fact I'm afraid that this whole low ride's gonna get stacked. I'm pissed to the guilt, I ain't turning back. Foaming at the mouth, I'm a wild ass dog. Foaming at the mouth, I'm a wild ass dog. Ha! I've been living my life in the days like a rat in a maze, and in fact I'm afraid that this whole low ride's gonna get stacked.
He was in with Existerio. That's a dude from the Shapeshifters. He was in a group with him called Candy's 22, the 22 caliber.
Stay shut. Fears in the rise, smack to the jaw, tears in the rise, back to the wall. Don't you even want to think about the one that loves you right now? They crying, paint a pretty picture without you and ain't no dice. You out of here. Out for the war, into the fight, out to the more, into the light, out what they like, in for the light, doesn't even really matter what they like. Black fight for your life, you need to resist your sweet tooth. 10 pounds sugar, 20 pounds gold, $2 $12 chin on her chest, stuck in the stall, 2 black eyes, holes in her arm, who ripped the felt on the pool table. Kiss on the neck, toast in the purse, who made this mess, who made it worse? None of your business, chump.
I also watched an old music video of theirs, Candy's 22. It's 14 years old. But it's weird when I'm watching the video, it's weird how strange and different video production was just 14 years ago.
So what's really good? Shit, can't really call it. Frivolity following me and my wallet. I sure ain't ballin'. Might complain a little bit, but I sure ain't ballin'. I sure ain't fallin'. Stalwart, stay solid. Ain't knowledge. Not from a book, but a bad break. I stay starving. Hunger's amused. Under the influence, I'm fluent in the language of guzzling influence. Rock and roll.
Everything's so different.
Yeah, like everything's so crisp and clear, and then you watch this old like VHS tape music video. It's really bizarre. But the song's awesome, and the video's actually kind of got a cool vibe to it because it's so old. So check that one out. That song is, oh shit, I don't even remember what song that was. Maybe Alone? Well, anyway. He's also in a group with Henry Osborne. Speaking of Henry Osborne, he was in a group. When I say was, I don't really know exactly what he's up to these days.
Well, that's
why he's going to be. That's what. Yep, he'll be able to fill that in. But he was in the group was called Norman with Henry Osborne, and the album's called Polarity. And there's a lot of really vibing tracks on that.
We're kicking your lazy ass out the house. It's a drunk's night in jail. It's fire engines in hell. It's fishing for beer money and I'm wishing well. It's here in the ocean in a pair of shell toes. It's a rock star's limo broke down on Melrose. You ain't hearing these raps. Raps hearing you, dig? Matter of fact, this ain't no rap. This ain't no rap. Rap's bullshit.
Let's see. Here's a great song. The song Petals. Featuring Barfly.
No, not. Yeah, she fly, see you next Kevlar negligee. Drink hawk and happy hour at the Harlem Beck evidence room. Dope mule, chihuahua in the Prada background. Bullets in the Pickle Union. Twilight. Wax in Paris in the cold with that old coke and a smile. Scarface Kyle. High-end retail boutiques don't throw nobody with teardrop tattoos. They're showing.
And then he's got an album out with Mr. Hill, but that was an album that he did in 2006 called Nite Owls. It's pretty amazing.
I definitely know how to rock, but I ain't cooking. Deck with the dental office, sitting in triage like, stitch me up, doc. By the way, well, you think I could get a little something for the pain? You know what I mean? All right, what? Sideways. When the streets need someone to speak, don't talk to MTV. Psh, better off coming to me. Yeah, let's just focus on that. We always killing time in my path. Sun sets quicker, blowing smoke rings and swimming in mid-shelf triple distilled liquor. Yeah, let's just focus on that. Let's just focus on that. Let's just focus on that.
Oh, I'm going to ask him today, too, to fill in some words. Remember, I'm trying to get rid of the word awesome or use it lest.
Lest I forget to use
Yeah,
something
lest
else.
I forget. Hey, there's also our man DJ Criminal. He has a song on that DJ Criminal Smuggler's Candle album. He's featured in a track called It's Easy. That's the video that we showed on our episode with DJ Criminal. Remember the video in Nepal? Mm-hmm. That Barfly does the verses on that. It's a really cool track.
It's an early phase of initiation. It becomes suspicious of a word. What does love really mean? Is it a shield or a sword? Some kind of food for the soul? What kind of truth does it hold? What process breaks it down and nourishes the whole? See, to me, love is easy and cheap to see. Every man drinks deep. I want to be killed by something real. You precious sissies in the sheet. This word in my necks is profaning any man's religion. I believe in many gods and doubt every prescription. So I walk thirsty right through the oasis. How do they get men to drink poison? They make it delicious. It's a simple thing to sow so much yield on such verdant green. You see a desert of hate.
So yeah, obviously while I'm telling you these, we're popping in the videos and the sounds for it.
I know. Are you saying that to me?
Yeah, everybody, anyone. Yeah, and then check out the song Sacrifice. That's Oldominion. I don't know everybody that's got verse on there, but the song's called Sacrifice. That's 13 years old.
Sacrifice, what's my soul worth? Droplets of good intent trying to melt this cold earth. But I'm only one man, stress leave me buried alive. I've swallowed the knife, still what do I have? Break by break, this great wall is crumbling down, and I'm trapped inside, wondering now exactly where I'm supposed to be. Supposing who is me, opposing all those that attack my deity. But is there meaning left? They're still screaming death. The demons that invade.
It is amazing how fast time passes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like how your favorite King Cruel albums. How old are they? At some point, they're gonna be old. You'll be talking about them, or are they new?
They're the tens to the end of the tens.
Yeah, it's when I'm going through like some stuff, when I'm listening to the music of like our guests, I go like, oh wow, this song's fucking awesome. I never heard it. Like it's 15 years old. I'm like, oh man. But this generation and the time that
are you talking about Gen Z?
Well, just the current era is all about revivalism. So everyone loves revivals, and so I'm hopeful for DIY underground hip hop. I feel like it is making like it's a revival kind of happening, but I don't know if that's only happening because we're way more involved than we were in the past. What do you think?
I don't think it ever went anywhere.
Oh,
so
really?
I didn't feel like it had to be revived.
I did when it went.
But I do think it's gotten a larger following since the Spotify.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but then they don't. Yeah, the downside of that is they don't financially get the benefits of that. But maybe that'll turn into.
But maybe that turns out people at the shows.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because there were all these rappers like what are the popular ones now that our son likes?
What do you
like the rappers?
Oh, like Tyler the Creator.
Yeah, like that's what I felt like was like the focus and that kind of, and then a lot of trap music and a lot of that was real popular for a while, and I just feel like underground hip hop kind of died off.
Everything is in a different lane. I think those are still very popular, but it's just different.
Right. Well, that's why
strokes for different folks.
Well, and that's why nice. Look at you coming up with idioms. That's why I was thinking of maybe there's a revival for underground hip hop. But again, don't take what I say as being a thing, because I'm mostly just am focused on my artwork, and then when we have guests on the show, then I start going like,
to be clear, we're just people.
Yeah, just a regular human. You're
expert in my drawing, and I'm an expert
in you. That's that's what I was going to say, because I'm not an expert in drawing. When I have conversations with...
come on, yes you are.
I'm an expert in my own work.
Yes,
I don't know shit about how to do...
All right, but we know. You're expert level. Yeah. I got to pee, so let's
okay, well, listen. Let me do a couple real quick. This song called Golden Calf.
Molotov cocktail shit. I love my loot rabbits filled up. L92 kind of rapper. Class at class, we're act up.
Smack that golden calf up. Kept the servants on they masters.
That's Smoke, Barfly, and Bishop I. And then obviously Floods. The album's called Tentacles of Abraxas. Again, you can only get that with the book. The sad thing is he also sent the CDs. Here's the sad here in the gallery at the studio. I don't have a CD player.
I got one you can have.
Oh, well, I wasn't able to listen to it from the CD, but I did listen to the whole album on SoundCloud, and it's a really good album, and it's got some metal vibe to it.
With occulted hopes for your opponents, vault false. Long fought triumph unfolding on the walls. Rogue outlaw with a soul for cold remuneration. Gather your rabble jack to arm up and run away with.
like there's some metal in there. So I wonder.
That's interesting. The stuff that I've been more attracted to lately, I've noticed has less of a overall computerized sound.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know that whatever that means.
Yeah.
And more
synthesizer
I'm hearing actual guitars and basses and real drums.
Yeah. Well, I think you like this album. You do have a CD player. It's really good. I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, but metal itself is not really a genre you like. Yeah, because I was going to ask if you've listened to Blacklick's band, his metal band. No. Okay, so before we take a break and come back with Barfly, there was one last album that I do want to speak about, and it's the album that why I know of Barfly. Aside from, it had been a while since I even thought of the name or heard the name until Andy McElmore, one of DOD45 listeners and a friend of the show. I will say a friend of the show now because he's kept, listens to the show regularly. He's the first one that requested, have asked if we'd had Barfly on the show. Oddly enough, like after he did, like a day later, I got two other people who asked about it. I don't know if there's a conspiracy. I don't think so. But after he brought him up, I was like, why do I know that name? We were on air when it came up, but I didn't want to say it then. Mr. Dibbs released this album, the Barfly Mix CD.
You call that a crap for help? Hardly compelling, seems rehearsed. And look at the spelling on this cursed, poorly worded excuse for a suicide note. You got it bad, word. Run your goods, Peter. Paul's talking about my kneecaps. You know my lips too cold, so I ain't trying to see that.
Only place I've been able to get that is on Bandcamp, on Dibbs' Bandcamp. I don't know if that's available like somewhere else, but it's got an image of Curious George on the cover. All right, sorry, it was a long build-up. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with our guest today, Barfly, a.k.a. Barf Loko.
DOD45. Hot sauce.
We're real thrilled to have partnered with Hot Sauce for three simple reasons. Their hot sauce is delicious, the owner and creator David is a solid dude, and they collaborate with dope artists for their labels, including myself. Boom. Amplify your favorite foods with their award-winning flavors. Head over to hobsauces.com to get yourself some absolutely delicious artisan hot sauce. Hit it, Bobby.
Have sauce. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Put it on your food.
Hot sauce. This is flyover country. No one's expecting much from us. In fact, no one's expecting anything at all. The coast probably think we're in Walmart right now. Great deal on our 5, by the way. Instead, here we are making plans. Big plans. Because in a city where people do so much with so little, what could happen if we gave them more? More beauty, connections, perspectives. This is your chance to be a part of something bigger than yourself. Something that's made of brick, concrete, and steel. But also from blood, sweat, and soul. Something that can only be possible in St. Louis. Because when no one's expecting much from you, you can do anything. Our city deserves something epic. Long live laborious.
Check out our new partners, Brim of the World, a.k.a. Seek, Conquer, and Destroy, a.k.a. Aliens Built Earth. Show them some love and treat yourself right to a new wardrobe or some new headgear. And I'm not talking about braces headgear, I'm talking about hats. Check out all their gear and links at brimoftheworld.com. Hey, real quick, my friends, my art is available for purchase at artbyty.com. So if you like what you're seeing or you want to support the DOD45 show, the best way for you to do that is to pick up a print or an original at my website. If you're not quite ready to buy, but you still want to help out, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you stream from. And make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel at artbyty and engage in the comments. That goes a long way. All right, enough already. Let's get back to the show.
DOD45.
Oh, welcome back. And thanks for checking in with or sticking around and listening from the words from our partners and sponsors. So who we are, we're back with.
I don't see him.
Oh. Well, I see him.
There.
How are you? How's life? How are things? What's good?
I have no complaints. It's good to be here with you.
Life's good. Then you're. I tend to think like if you're alive, then life's good. So
yeah.
Well, we appreciate you joining us on the show. We were just doing in the intro. We were just going through all of your. I was initially talking about your music, but I was talking about your book. You sent me your book. The Winding Up Strangers in a Bar?
Winding Up Strangers in Bars, yeah.
Yes. I can't read. I mean, I can read, but I struggle reading because my mind I tend to just blame it on being an artist. I sometimes can't think long enough to read pages. But I have been reading your book, and I don't have to wander. It's been captivating, and I'm really enjoying it.
Thank you. Wow.
So yeah, that's big. That's what we were talking about in the intro, because I really, not saying I'm some great human, but I struggle to read. So I've been able to read Hunter S. Thompson books and your book. So
amazing.
So yeah, it's really good. So good.
And when you say you struggle to read, you struggle with your attention span.
Yes.
Not like
I'm sorry. Yes,
reading.
I know how to put. Yeah, I know what words mean and stuff. I struggle to pay attention.
I think that's not uncommon, and it's why a lot of people prefer audiobooks. Finding the time to read is difficult. It's a bit of a vain pursuit for me. I want to write,
Yes.
But reading is not so vital to most people's interests these days, and finding the time for it is difficult. And it's kind of why the writing style I've developed is the chapters are small, bite-sized parcels that, you can read it when you have 5 minutes, and put it down. Not everybody wants to read like a whole lot anymore. And yeah, I don't want it to be like some slog. I want it to be fast-paced and easily consumed.
Well, and I do think that was the case for me. I'm definitely not of the MTV generation where everything, and now the TikTok generation, at first it was 10 minutes attention span, now it's 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm not of that. I've just never been able to concentrate, but I think maybe, you're right. Thanks for laying that out that way. It is definitely, I was able to read the first chapter within a matter of minutes, and then I was able to not have to retain tons of information for me to continue on. And then I read the next chapter the next day, and it was like, oh yeah, I know what this is. And yeah, I think it's really well done. When did you write the book?
In 2014. I started it in October of 2014, and the first draft was complete by my birthday, which is in February.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
also was a year-long process, right? Yeah, about just under a year.
Yeah, just under a year, like maybe 8 months or something.
This character who's winding the people up, is this a part of you? Do you think in that way?
No, every one of those characters, every single one of the characters is an aspect of myself that I've, got, gained some understanding of, but he's very exaggerated.
Yeah. Well, when I was thinking that, because I tend to be not physically afraid of people like that, but coming from my Samoan culture was a lot about doing things for people and let them go first. It was always that. So I get anxious when people when shit like that happens. I get oh man, I don't know how to. I try to laugh it away, because in the book for Adrian, because she hasn't read it yet, but I think she's really gonna like it. And I'm 20 pages in, but yeah, the guy gets people wound up and really calls people out on shit that is.
Yeah, he's a little of that character goes a long way. He's very unlikable.
Yeah, but also, but also, there's like there's something about that that's like very charming to me. Like I really like that. Like I kind of like that. Like not giving a shit.
It's written in the first person, which was I think it was pretty challenging. So you're constantly inside his stream of consciousness, which I don't know. That's a big ask for a reader, I think, but I think it works.
I feel very much. It allows me to like if I have a thought while I'm reading, and if I go like, oh, I like that, then I can go, but that's not my thought. That's this character's thought.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I really liked. Well, I'll let people read it, and we'll move on from it. But I really liked it. I think it's like the second chapter, but he like calls the chick out, and she totally just decks him, and then he's like, all right, I got her riled up. I can go to the next bar. It's pretty awesome. Hey, yeah, thanks for sending us the package. That's dope. I appreciated that. What are you currently going by? Barf Loko, Barfly, or?
People still call me Barfly. That name I'm always going to answer to. I needed a pen name for my book. I think is probably where it begins. And I don't know if I wanted to, I couldn't decide if I wanted Barfly Streisand or Barfly Manilow.
Oh, yeah. I do like Barfly Streisand a lot.
So, I just went with Barf Loko, and I think I've been putting it on other things since.
I do want to ask, as a writer and with the name Barfly, is it fair or obnoxious for me to assume you're a Bukowski fan?
I think that's fair. It'd be silly for me to pretend that I'm not a fan, but I don't know. I've probably moved on from being very interested in what he did.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, I do. I actually do know exactly what you mean. I mean, not exactly, but I think I feel the same way. Yeah. All right. So the timer's been set. We're going to get going with you. Thanks again for joining us on the show. I'll start off with some of the Sophie's Choice questions. If you could only make music using samples from either of these two people, who would you go with? Wayne Newton or Olivia Newton-John?
Oh man. Huh. I'm gonna go with Wayne Newton.
Oh, cool. Are you
really?
Yeah. Are you familiar with Wayne Newton? I'm not familiar with his catalog or his music. But I mean, I know what he does. But are you actually like familiar with his music?
Not at all.
Right? Yeah. Cool. Cool.
Didn't he just have? Not just have, but he had a Vegas residency. Wasn't he one of those guys?
Yes.
He did,
yeah. He's like a Tom Jones type, right? Yeah.
You're right. I'm just inspired. I wanna work with strictly both of those artist samples.
Oh yeah.
Just samples.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get access to the Grease soundtrack if I go with Olivia Newton-John, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that's not cheap, right?
Can't lose, though.
That's right. If you had to serve 10 years in prison, who would you prefer to be your bunkmate, Jeff Bezos or Jeffrey Dahmer?
I'm going to go with Bezos. I'm getting rolled up.
He's Amazon, right? Not
yes.
The other one.
What's more enjoyable to watch, John Candy as Barf in Spaceballs or Jeff Goldblum as The Fly?
Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, wow.
He's so watchable.
Are you a fan of the Spaceballs movie at all, or of Mel
Brooks?
Mel Brooks, yeah.
I like Mel Brooks. I do.
Yeah.
Spaceballs is fun, but I don't rewatch that stuff a whole lot.
Right.
It's been a long time.
Do you rewatch? Were you a fan of John Candy's at all? Is that kind of humor your vibe or not?
Not exactly. Humor's rough for me. I have to watch it with other people and kind of be blindsided by it. Otherwise, I don't crave it.
Right. Are you into
Same.
like that? Yeah, that's definitely how Adrian is. Are you into comedies in general?
Not really.
Oh, wow.
Either am I. I'm with you there because every time there's like a funny movie,
yeah,
I'm like, oh no, let's not watch that one. Let's go for the Armageddon or the action.
If there are other people that are enjoying it, I'll enjoy it. comedy's fun that way, like in a crowd. But I tend to avoid animation and comedies, I think.
Oh yeah.
Stand up though, that's a different live stand up is different, I feel like.
Yeah, stand up's fun.
Yeah, I don't know why I just love a comedy. I don't know.
Do.
I love
You
to
like funny
enjoy laughing. Yeah, it gets you like even just like physically, it gets you kind of, I don't know, I can laugh. I can really, maybe that comes with my family. My family laughs a lot.
They are
and
laughers.
very loudly.
I know for me, not to like change it, but
No, you're all right.
I laugh at things that aren't supposed to be funny.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm afraid I do too.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know the lyrics to anyone's song, like from opening lyric to end? Is there anybody whose song that you know every verse or every lyric to? Or I'm not going to ask you to like challenge you, but is there anybody out there that you do know?
I'm sure there is. I don't know until I've gotten through the song, like singing along. I can't do karaoke, I don't think, because I get so nervous that I don't know the words, even if they're putting them on screen.
Right.
Yeah. They never seem to play those out right. Do you do karaoke? Like, is that something you will do?
Not really.
Me either, but I have done it. But it seems like the words come at the wrong time with the beat.
Total train wreck if I do.
Yeah.
Totally.
When Ice-T's Colors comes on, I couldn't say every one right now, but if that was on, I could go every lyric with that. Same with LL Cool J's Bad. I could do every word.
Yeah, you know what? That might be the era where I might know all of the songs from end to end. I think I might have a good shot with rap songs from that era, actually.
Yeah.
So do you rap too?
Yeah.
Because then I got the picture that you were a producer. You produce music, right, as well?
Yeah, I do both. The music that I put the name Floods on anything where I've produced it. Like I don't sample too much. Generally, I just like to compose with keys, guitar, bass, and then I'll program the drums. And that, anything I've done like that, I'll usually release under the title Floods. And if someone else is the producer, I'll use a group name or Barfly.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So you play all those instruments.
I don't think I'm a player.
Okay.
I don't rehearse. I don't pick up a guitar and and practice and stay. I'm not a player, but I do use them to compose.
Yeah, because that album that comes with the book, Tentacles of Abraxa, right? Yeah, that has a very metal vibe to it, but I guess. I mean, the music sounds great to me. I listened to it, the whole thing again last night, all the way through. I feel like it has a real good vibe to it. I don't know. I listen to some metal. I'm not.
And is that you on all the instruments?
Yes.
That? Okay.
Yeah, it's a cool album. I guess, is that still the case? The only way to get your hands on it is with the book?
No, you can buy it separately. It's available at concusscreations.com. Then that's cool. The only place to find it, really. You can listen to it for free on SoundCloud.
Well, that's what I had to do. We talked about that in the intro. Unfortunately, at my this is how lame shit's got for me. It's like in the gallery, I don't even own a CD player, only a record player.
I never know what format to give people music anymore, or offer it for sale. I tend to find that the hard copy is an artifact that they can hold on to, and you have to include like a download code or something, but I have no idea. It's so prohibitively expensive to put things out on vinyl, and it delays release by a factor of 6 to 8 months sometimes. And so I tend to just want to release things in CD or cassette. Because
how are you about that cassette game? Because that's the big thing right now. People are definitely doing the cassette, and that's way cheaper.
It's so much more affordable, and you can include a download code. So yeah, it seems to be the easiest method right now. I should probably consider doing that more.
Is there hope for for vinyl becoming easier? I mean, I know there's only several plants that are pressing vinyl, but
yeah, I wonder about that myself. I know that people are becoming discouraged from releasing on vinyl just based on the wait time alone.
Yeah.
But also, you know, it's very difficult to sell 100 units, 250 units of anything right now.
Yeah.
At least as an artist who, you know, isn't too well known. And your profit margin is really slim with vinyl, you know, in those numbers. You know, it's hard to, it feels really crazy pricing a vinyl at $30. But that's kind of
especially because then what? Then you're trying to like, and then you see these comments of people online when like an artist is releasing something on vinyl and it's like $40 and you see people freaking out. You're like, do you know how much it costs to press vinyl, you fucking assholes?
I mean, at this point, like it just feels so crass asking for anything for music. I honestly don't release music very often anymore, except to friends. I give them music because it's what I have. You know, that's what that's, you know, probably one of the more valuable things I can offer, you know.
And that's at the result of like all this digital and streaming and stuff, right? I wonder as a writer, do you, now that whole thing, what were you talking about, Adrian, on an episode recently that Amazon was doing they were doing a thing where...
Do you sell your book on Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess they're doing something kind of similar. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's kind of a hack that if you order the book and then return it, so someone orders it, reads it, returns it, then the author somehow doesn't get paid.
I know. See, you got a whole other
surprise me.
And so
I barely get paid. You know, it's these giant platforms. I don't know why I softened to it for Amazon. I think it's because it just feels great to look at my name on Amazon with a book. I seriously think that's probably why it's there. Because I'm not going to get much of anything if it's sold on Amazon. I think I've sold a few copies on Amazon, and you know, that's just pennies. I get, you know, if I sell the book myself, I get paid better. But
that's where everybody looks.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think it's, you know, I won't do this with my own music. I just think that Spotify and Apple Music are so distasteful that music that I have no control over, things like the Saturday nights, you can find old music that I was a part of. Yeah, and I don't really have any control over that if I don't, you know, own the masters or whatever. Yeah, that stuff can be found on those platforms, but I will not participate in that. In you know, I'm really disgusted with it.
Yeah, good for you. I mean, stand your ground. It's fine, you know.
I agree. I agree as someone who I buy up like I love buying vinyl and buying hard copies, but I also really love going on my run and turning on my iPhone that has any song on my Spotify. Like I am a consumer of that, so I have this little bit of guilt about that, but I am throwing money to any artist that I can buy from. How do we get back to? How do we get people? Are we beyond that? Will we be able to get people to get back to, you know, like, hey, if you're going to listen to their music on Spotify, give the artist some money.
Nah, people are going to, you know, music is going to return, in my opinion. It's going to return to being what it's been for its entire, like, there's a small window of time in the late 20th century where people became incredibly wealthy from making music. That is an anomaly. It's going to return to being a cultural and social experience that isn't for profit, because that's what it is. Consensus culture is a factory that just plucks from your culture and takes credit for it, sells it back to you.
Yes.
It's not something to be aspiring to participate in. You know, the wealth that it generated for a handful of people, I feel like I was spared great embarrassment by not having the success of some of these artists.
Are you saying like because people with big record deals and stuff, even they were not really getting paid? Well, some of them were, and then some of them weren't. Is that kind of what you mean? Like,
even if you got ridiculously paid, you made someone else who is a piece of shit an incredible amount of money by factors of just astronomically more than you made.
Like record labels.
Middlemen need to be starved.
Yeah.
Stop making middlemen rich so you can get a pittance.
Yes.
Right. And these artists still had to do the tours and everything to actually make the money.
Right. And it's grueling. Like, not everybody's cut out to be on all the time. And you can turn yourself into something you are not. And it won't be fun. It's like nobody's going to come out and explain that, my years as an artist were, really hard on me. All you hear is how great it was.
So in a way, is it kind of the same thing, do you think? The streaming service giving your music away as opposed to the record label not getting the art? It's kind of...
Yeah. They had to find a way to position themselves to continue to farm this and profit off of it. And what they offer in return is a bigger insult than it was when they were releasing hard copies.
Well, and my question that I often have asked here is, does that have an effect on good music? Like, will that affect when it gets back to, like you were saying, where no one's making money? Not that making the money is the part, but to survive, people have to make, money for.
Yeah.
So will that change? Will that have a negative impact on music that's coming out?
It already does. I feel like, if you have a hierarchy of aesthetics that you respect, and you're not afraid of terms like elitist, and you demand a certain standard, this is a great time for music, but you have to look high and low. But if you're fine with, look, we're probably just a few months away from people becoming very enamored with and bewitched by music that doesn't have any human contribution whatsoever.
Yeah, the AI bullshit.
Oh yeah. You think AI isn't going to be making music as good as anything Migos has put out?
Yeah, I know.
No, I do think that people will make music that is more in tune to other people, but I do believe you're right. There is a population who'll be like, "Ooh, this was just I made this by putting in the right words on my AI," and they might take the claim for that.
Well, yeah, and that's that's this worry for everyone, and I guess I've always been an optimist, but in the last, ever since the start of the pandemic, has got a little more skeptical about shit. But I've always been an optimist. But one of the things I'm still optimistic about is, I know a lot will change, but I still feel like people want from an actual artist. They want the music. They don't want to hear from some people will, and those people are fucking assholes anyway. Like, we can't change them. Because I feel the same way about someone buying artwork that a computer made. If you're buying artwork from Target, like, you're one of those assholes that's not going to buy one of my pieces anyway.
Yeah.
But it is a scary, it's a slippery slope. But I just feel like people still have the craving for authentic human interaction, and that is, you want music from the actual artist that made it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I hope that remains.
And I really feel that only humans can take you on an emotional journey with music. I mean, who knows? Maybe computers will be able to, but it just seems very human, to send you on that ride.
It veers off into really abstract terms really fast. Like, it becomes for lack of a better word, it becomes almost a spiritual conversation at some point, because make no mistake, those algorithms can emulate anything we can do. And 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 if they can't, they will rewrite themselves to do that, and they'll get their own on a long enough timeline. It'll probably become pretty indistinct, and the only component missing would probably be something that gets into woo-woo territory.
Sure.
A lot of people are going to be making decisions about how they feel about arts and culture, and it's going to go deeper than probably what they're prepared to toss around in their heads. It's going to get interesting. To say the least.
Well, yeah, and I guess the early worry is if they start advertising it as an actual person created this music when they didn't, then that's where I feel like that'll even get even shittier.
We might be seeing actual artists very soon who are not real. I mean, body and there will be a face to attach to it, and
well, I will say this is why I still out on the road. Why I like the experience. The way we usually get my artwork out to people is through outdoor art festivals. I like the experience way better because I sell my galleries carry my work and I get checks from them and everything, but I don't have an experience with the buyer when they buy something from the gallery. And I love the experience that I have when I get to meet the people when they're buying my artwork, and I think they also very much enjoy that experience buying it directly from me. So hopefully we can stick along on that. Hey, who gives a better performance? I know we said you're no longer really in that territory, but who gives a better performance? Matt Dillon in Factotum or Mickey Rourke in Barfly?
Ooh, wow. I'm gonna go with Mickey Rourke in Barfly because it's pretty resonant. It's pretty iconic.
It really is. And I think so many people haven't seen either one of those movies, whether you're a fan of Bukowski or not. They're pretty, well, shoot, I won't try to explain that. I really like both the movies. I was not ever a huge fan of Matt Dillon's, but I felt like he's really good in that.
Yeah, I think my favorite Matt Dillon performance is probably from Drugstore Cowboy. That character Bob he did great things with that. It was such a fun character.
Yeah, that is a real good movie. I have not watched that one in a long time. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that one. Yeah, that one's really gritty.
I just wrote it down.
I love the cat and mouse game that he and James Raymar's character have, the detective. It's just really fun.
Yeah,
even though it's a dark movie, but their interplay is pretty awesome.
Well, oh, hey, I was gonna ask this because I was watching your performance. No, I'm sorry. It was some live show with Oldominion. So I was watching it, and someone was, like you tend to do on a stage. Someone said, "Get your hands up." Right when this question came to my mind, and I was like, I'm going to ask Barfly this. What happens if hands don't go up?
Well, that's a fireable offense. The crowd has to get called into a star chamber where they're escorted from the premises with their property.
Yeah, they get escorted out. Hey, your comic Sky Full of Cranes?
Yeah.
How did that come together? Like the comic book itself, is that something that you do regularly, and did you do the drawings and the writing?
Yeah. I'm glad I get to talk about that because I get to talk about my friend Specs Wizard. That's his brainchild, the Gibson comic anthology, and I'm hoping soon we get to do another one.
Oh yeah, because that came out 2019 or something?
Yep, I think so, 2019. And he is an incredible artist from here in Seattle, Washington. He's been doing the lo-fi beats thing since before it was a genre. It was just his style. And his rap couplets are comparable with anybody out there. The guy is, to me, incredible. And he also does comic books. And so he approached me about doing a few pages in an anthology, and I was so thrilled to get to do that. And the only other experience I have doing a comic book is in 1992, I think. Yeah. I did a comic book that I never published.
Oh, do you have the pages and everything for it still?
No.
Oh, it's long gone. Oh, bummer.
Yeah, I don't save things. I don't even have copies of my music most of the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I guess are you? Oh man, that just gave me anxiety. I have everything. I don't know why. It's like just gonna get. I don't know. I'm a hoarder, but yeah, two things that I always wanted to do. I've always drawn my whole life, but I always wanted to do a comic, but I can't focus long enough to create characters and write a thing. I have comics that I did when I was like 12, and I have one page. But I all of a sudden, like, I need to move on. And then I always wanted to do a zine. I always thought those were cool. I thought old punk zines. I didn't collect comics or I didn't read comics. I just liked if you consider Mad Magazine a comic, I definitely collected those. But yeah, I don't know. It's really cool. And I'm so impressed with like the artwork that you did and the story. And are you quick? Are you a quick drawer?
For a comic, this is my theory. I'm not like experienced with comics, but I know what my process was there. First, I had to develop characters that I enjoyed drawing enough to want to draw them over and over.
Yeah.
And then, so I love drawing the little dog. I love drawing the spaceman. I enjoyed drawing those characters. So I spent some time developing characters that I knew I'd fallen in love with, so to speak, like that I wanted to draw. And then it does kind of go a little bit fast, because you've got a little bit of you've conditioned yourself to draw those characters. I was, drawing characters that I liked the way they looked, but, tasking myself with drawing them over and over sounded really not fun. And if things are fun, you'll do them over and over. You don't even have to make yourself,
Yeah, it seems so tedious, but if you like it, and that's what that's what you're saying. You figured out which ones you like. In that process, though, did you end up going like, "Oh, I don't want to draw another panel of these people"?
No, not at all. I actually think I want to do more with those characters, but awesome. I'm not so sure where they, what they're, what that would look like.
More comic.
Maybe maybe I revisit those characters again someday. I definitely enjoy drawing them enough to return to it.
When you go into something such as comics, music, writing, what do you need to get out of it for you to be able to follow it through?
That's a good question. Like, it's this is probably changing as I age too, though. But I have to be obsessed enough to return to it. But also, it's obsession is very exhausting. So I have to be able to be somewhat dispassionate about it. And it's a strange intersection. I'm right now trying to craft the ritual for doing another graphic novel or, art and story format piece. And I have two candidates and I'm not sure which one is going to, catch fire, so to speak.
Right. On what percentage does financial have to play into it? Because time is for me, everything's about like what time do I have to do it?
Yeah, I try not to let that influence me. Dread is unhealthy, and it's a waste of time. But there is a financial aspect that you definitely have to have things succeed, but not everything has to succeed,
Yeah, I guess. So a small, so very little percentage for you is what you're saying. Yeah.
If one endeavor every 10 years winds up yielding a material reward, I've done pretty good. I've been able to survive off that happily.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
I do a lot of stuff that just doesn't. Well, I can do a lot of stuff that just doesn't get released also. Like, I would even dare say that my best stuff doesn't get released. But
do you have that? Are you the type that whatever you're creating, whether it's words on paper or drawing or music, is the process for you only for you to get it out of your system?
I mean, it's like this. It's probably more accurately put, I have to honor this creative impulse, or bad things happen. I've gotten pouty before and decided I'm not going to write a rap song and maybe not even pen a lyric for as much as 3 years. And the things that I find to do with my time otherwise can be pretty disastrous.
Yes.
I think it's important for any artist, anyone with a creative impulse, to understand as quick as you can that you have to obey that. You can't quit it. It's not cigarettes. It's not alcohol. You can't quit that. You can't quit the art. So don't put yourself in peril by thinking you can.
Right. Yeah, because it'll consume you. I mean, it does. It's an obsessive compulsive sort of behavior, not as on a clinical level, but it's very much like it's
it can be self-destructive if you don't get into it.
I'll spend time going, if I'm not creating for a long time, I'll start going like, oh, am I going to be one of them crazy artists that cut my ear? Like, I'll start getting into that headspace. I'm like, wait, I'm not, I don't know. It's like, it can be scary, but it's also exciting. Hey, is there anything better than Silver Mount Zion?
That takes me back to a time, honestly. I think more than them, I was at when I was interested in that sort of sound and style. I liked oh gosh, what were they called? Cannot remember
Not the version of Silver Mount Zion, like not their other band, the Godspeed You Black
Godspeed,
Emperor.
That's right. Yeah, Godspeed You Black Emperor. I liked them a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we just went and saw them. We saw them in Chicago, and Adrian went to sleep. I love Silver Mount Zion and Godspeed. I love the soundscape, and I love the way it makes my neurons fire up in here. And I just when it's on and I'm drawing, it's like, I don't know. There's something about it that's really great. And I think I saw you mention in an interview or something about being a fan of Silver Mount Zion, which is why I brought it on.
Absolutely.
Looking back on all your collaborations and your projects, was there one that just felt, wow, we made some really good music together?
Absolutely. And I hope someday that it gets released. I actually have been discussing releasing it with this person who I've been working with for over 20 years. Way back around 2000, I've been collaborating with my friend Hyena for over 20 years, and we have never put anything we've done out.
Oh, wow.
And there was something that it almost came into discussion of being put out. We started a project under the name Inhalant, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that it was truly ahead of its time. And I don't think I've ever done anything that impresses a lot of my peers who are a little bit above my pay grade, let's say.
Okay.
But I do recall one time Soul from Anticon was staying at the label house I was working in 2000, and he heard Inhalant, and he probably doesn't remember this, but he showed interest in putting it out, and that meant a lot to me. That was a big affirmation.
When you say this person that you collaborated with, is that on a level like you recorded stuff together, or you just kind of like were making stuff together?
We've been recording music together since 2000, and
what holds it up releasing it?
We don't release it, honestly, because at first, the very first stuff we did as Inhalant, the thing that was getting in the way was the producer was very reluctant to be associated with the more artsy side of rap and hip hop at the time. And
I'm so intrigued.
Yeah.
I want to hear this.
It's really unfortunate. And it was a problem. It was, and after a thing has been sat on the shelf for a while, you just sort of move on. And we've revisited this work over time, and it stands up. It's good. And in the meantime, we've probably done 4 other projects that are under different. We've given them different names, and they have different, tones and themes. And honestly, as time has gone by, it's become more daunting to release things because the stakes seem so much higher. I have a period where it seems I might have gone dark in terms of releasing things because there's just been so many attacks on artists and public personalities for wrongthink. And I've just been satisfied to release music to people I trust to listen to it and know, that the sad thing is that, it's not, they're not animated by bad purposes or bad intent, but they don't realize is they're just carrying water for giant corporations. Yeah. That's all you are. You're an attack dog for a big middleman.
Yeah.
And you're beating up on other poor people, other small people,
Yeah.
And
that's our system for sure.
Yeah.
We've been fighting each other forever.
That's one of the reasons I hestate to be on here.
Yeah.
In general,
Right.
just because I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things
I'm always saying some stupid thing.
Well, that's funny.
Not that that's what you're doing, but
No, that's what I'm doing.
After every episode,
Precisely
Adrian will say, did I say, she'll get really worried about stuff.
Yeah.
So that brings me to, I did have a conversation with Dibs over the weekend, and I was telling him how we're getting a lot more guests, like a lot of more people are, the name of the show is getting out there to more people. And I was telling Dibs how it's sort of made me a little uneasy because the idea is we put out, this is started as, I want to talk to people who make the music and do the stuff that I love. And then, and I share it with people, like you said, the people I can trust to enjoy my artwork. That's who, our viewers are. But it's now getting out there to more people. And he said, well, you opened up the floodgates and now you deal with it. Well, I'm comfortable with it. But the reason I was bringing that up is because we do have a question from Dibs. And so we will, let's hear what Dibs had to say.
Give it up, Mr. Tibbs on the turntable.
Listen to more of this.
You what? No, I know him. You don't know him. You're fucking flapping your gums and bouncing your lips around like you know some shit. You don't know shit about it. Or him. Barf Loko. Barfly first out the limo, or as I personally know and love him as, Barrington Flap Satchel is Barfly, ladies and gentlemen. The only other dude in the room that I can have a conversation with during an overhyped hip-hop event. Anyway, tonight's question, sir, is it's about Midwestern mystery tradition. So here's a list of things that are involved in that you've personally witnessed, but only one of them can be the most irritating to you. I was there. I know how it went down. I saw the look on your face. So try to think back and let's remember. Number 1, 24 UDF ready whip whippets. Number 2, runaway bloodhounds. Number 3, party limos. Number 4, unauthorized Zoom commercials starring you and the crew. Number 5, Wall of Death mosh pits at Scribble Jam. And number 6, taking instructions from an underage person on how you should personally be smoking Weed. One of those made your eyebrows raise, your foot twitch, and your finch clist. Your finch clist. I like that. Finch clist. That sounds like a punk rock band. Finch clist, tub water. It's okay. We're adopted. Those are all good punk rock band names too. Anyway, there's your list. Pick one. Choose wisely. Have at it, boss.
Yeah, I want to talk about the oh my god, I don't even remember which number.
I don't know.
I know the topic, and I'm trying to remember how it was phrased. But basically, the unauthorized film crew.
Oh, what was happening there?
We got had by those slicksters. Some hustlers working in advertising. Well, I don't want to get anyone in trouble.
Oh, I see.
We'll just say the biggest software company that isn't Apple or Android. Basically, an ad agency that was working for them came over and filmed an advertisement for one of their products during Scribble Jam in 2006. And yeah, they were dishonest.
Yeah.
And we got no compensation. And yeah, it's been so long since I've thought about it that I'm not even as properly disgusted as I should be right now. I'm going to tell you, like, just about everything he brought up was something that's worth remark. Yeah, I had to pick one, and I'm just like, okay, 'cause they're all pretty funny, honestly, when it comes down to it.
You guys, is that Barfly, that the album? I think it's just called the Barfly Mixed CD, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That album's so great, and I mentioned in the top of the episode that's what's playing underneath us right now as we're speaking. So yeah, I'm playing that whole album.
That's why I was confused.
Why?
Well, first of all, I think you had mentioned, but Dibs had said, or somebody said, that you were so funny. Am I wrong on this? And so in my head, I worked that into you're a comedian.
Yeah.
And then when you said that his and Dibs CD is playing throughout the underlying, that's why I was confused. Like, oh, you rap? I didn't even look you up because I was thinking, oh, you're a rapper. But then in the intro, I'm like, oh wait, but then he produces beats and he's a writer and you're a rapper.
Well, the best part about Adrienne and having her with the show is she mostly doesn't know anyone on the show, and I like that. I'll tend to like just gloss over something and she'll want to know, like, oh wait, let me ask this. So yeah, anyway, that's
so my apologies. I would have gone and listened in and looked up, but I will have to do that after now.
I think that's important. Like it must be really, like, I imagine Ty's job must be challenging because it has to be a little bit, it just has to make more sense to be interviewing someone you're not so acquainted with. If you know the person's work and you know, I think it's challenging to interview. It would have to be challenging to interview someone that you know a bit about, and you're able to maybe ask more probing questions and have a little bit more distance when you're not, you know, familiar with their work.
I'll tell you what I really like about the whole thing, though, is I don't like to talk about when a lot of these people they've had 100 interviews and it's always the same questions. For me, the truth is we just like hanging out with these people who are of like minds, people who create stuff, and I find just a regular conversation is where you'll end up learning about either their process or whatever, and then there's still in the little bit of stupid questions to make it fun.
I think the format's great. I mean, yeah. That's exactly what happens, and I mean, I've become apprehensive about it. You know, they always ask you know, what are your influences and this and that, and it's really, you know, like no one no one cares about those are canny questions. It's just a good conversation is what people want, because that's what they're going to. That's what they crave, is something a little bit more candid.
Well, yeah, just like being in a bar. You liked it, or I mean, if you're a barfly, but I do enjoy just the opposite of the character in your book. I enjoy a conversation with someone at the bar. I tend to think he enjoys the conversation. He just likes to piss the people off.
I think he's very afraid of himself, that character.
Yeah, I get that sense, and that's what I think. As a writer, that your talent is like, I know this guy. I feel like I know him. I feel like he already has. I'm only 20 pages in, but I already understand kind of what's ticking him. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen at the end. Speaking of comedians, we brought up earlier, and actually stand up. Who would you have write light jokes for your best mate's eulogy? Jeff Ross or Jeff Foxworthy?
Oh, it would be Jeff Ross.
Yeah, he's a ball buster to a T.
Absolutely.
Who has a better chance of redemption, Roseanne Barr or Bill Barr?
What did Bill Barr do?
He was William Barr. He was
the attorney guy,
the attorney general guy. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm supposed to choose. I'm going to go with Roseanne Barr, I guess.
Well, I saw that she's doing a tour, so.
How many times has she redeemed herself already? She's like an expert at it.
Yeah,
I can't even remember, but I can't even remember what she did.
It was probably
anymore.
Something.
Yeah, I can't remember her last message.
I'm sure it's all fine.
What was the better? Who's a better barfly, Norm from Cheers or Barney from The Simpsons?
Oh golly! Wow, I think I like Barney from The Simpsons better.
Oh.
Yeah. Were you a fan of Cheers at all? The TV show at all?
Yeah, I remember at some point. I don't know how much of a fan I was, but I think it was
just on.
We go back to the days when there wasn't on-demand viewing. So this is on. I guess I'll fucking watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that's what a lot of the shows were, huh? It was just like, this is on.
You have 13 channels,
and
choose the one that's.
Yeah, choose the one that's not in the news. Or
what would have been on the other channels opposite Cheers? The other 3 channels in those days.
Dallas.
Yeah, totally.
Cheers, what was on in our house?
Yeah, Cheers was always on, or Night Court, or WKRP, or something.
Right.
What would you rather have back in Seattle, the Sonics or Amazon?
Give me the Sonics, jeez.
I know.
Oh my God, that's never been an easier question.
Are you a fan of sport?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, cool.
I do like sports. I watch a lot of NHL.
Yeah, you guys got that hockey team now.
Yeah, and it's a funny thing. I'm not much of a Seattle sports fan. I'm a transplant, and my connection to sports is, if I have a connection with it from childhood, that's where it's held on from there. And
you're a Kings fan.
I grew up watching the Los Angeles Kings, and that's a hard-earned fanship right there. We used to go to games, and the visiting team's jerseys would outnumber the Kings jerseys in the stands, and nobody cared to talk about the Kings, and so I was a King. It sounds weird to say it in the past tense, but I have honestly, we got 2 Stanley Cups. I got to see that in my lifetime, and I'm thrilled about that. And, I reluctantly have decided to, I don't know, man. You live in Seattle for so many years, and you hold on to these traditions with other teams, and it feels wrong.
Like you're cheating on
Yeah. You feel like you're cheating on
them. Yeah, I'm a Kraken supporter now. And
Are you good?
I am.
My cousin lives out there. They got season tickets. She never liked hockey ever, but now she'll be banging on the glass. Like, she loves the Kraken.
Absolutely. It only takes one game and you are going to be hooked. If people it's hard to get hooked by watching it on TV. It's a difficult sport to follow on television. I love to introduce people to hockey, and all you have to do is take them to even just a minor league game.
Yep.
And when they see it, that's it. They're sold. It's so easy.
It is. It's so exciting. It's so great.
Yeah, it is.
I've been arrested several times, but twice we're at a hockey game, and they were high school hockey games.
Yeah. It's fun.
It is fun. I went for my first time this year, and we took our kids along with that cousin he's talking about. And anyway, we went to Utah to just a smaller team game, and our kids are not sports people, but they went away loving.
Yeah, it was great because there was like at least 5 really good fights. Okay, yeah. So Sage Francis, he lurked your social medias, I believe. I mean, that's the purpose of his segment is Sage Francis's social media lurk. So let's see what Sage has to say. Sage, what Sage has for Barfly. Let's see what he had this.
DOD45! What up, Ty? Adrian? What's up, Barfly? I've known the Oldominion cats ever since recording my Personal Journals album. So that's over 20 years ago. 22 when I was actually recording it. And obviously Sleep of Oldominion, he's on Strange Famous. I've come across a lot of those cats. We broed down. I don't think I've ever met you, and if we did have interactions and I forgot, I apologize. But you're tough to find online. I needed some assistance just following certain like social media sites. I wonder if you do that on purpose. That is one question. But the other is I did find a tweet from 2017 where you say, imagine Pete Rock smoking a blunt and thinking to himself, the name Peter is derived from a Greek word Petros, which means rock. So I'm pretty much named Rock. That's a nice thought. I think I'll fetch my pipe and slippers and enjoy a hot cider. Barfly, why did you pick that name? And I also have noticed that you come up with a lot of rapper names as a subject matter for your tweets. What were you first called? How did you land on the name Barfly? And what do you want to change it to moving forward, if anything? Check me out with Sleep and a bulk of the Strange Famous roster on July 17th in Denver for the very first Strange Famous Fest at Levitt Pavilion. It is free. I have that and many more shows. You can find them on the tour section of strangefamous.com. Thank you guys for having me again. Sage Francis, out. Strange Famous!
He's absolutely correct in his supposition that I might purposely obscure myself online. I do. I come from a background that is very anti-celebrity. I was raised around Hollywood, California, and I find that whole path is distasteful and uninteresting for me. I think that hidden things are very valuable, and I want people to have to find me. So yeah, it is a bit of a challenge to find my stuff, and honestly, I don't think I'm doing much worse than I would if I was on Spotify and all of those platforms in abundance. I think I'd probably be around the same profile.
And you're right about that. It's like almost mysterious to. It's like it makes it more pleasurable to when they do find you, then they find you.
Yeah, indeed. I think that there's a sensibility that people don't necessarily want to share everything, and limitless growth isn't attractive to everybody. Some people want to have things that are somewhat hidden and personal. So yeah, I mean that's sort of where I'm at with that. And also it's tedious and you know a bit frustrating to deal with these platforms.
Yeah.
You know, the banhammer is pretty indiscriminate and pretty senseless. So You know, I spare myself a lot of that frustration by not engaging on, on a dependent level. In terms of the name Barfly, basically, I figured out for myself around the early 2000s that close to the turn of the century, I figured out that one of the sort of methods of engaging with rap music was, creating a persona, a character, and Barfly is an exaggeration of an aspect of myself, and the name is clearly, influenced by Bukowski. It's the movie with Mickey Rourke, and I felt like that was pretty uncomplicated. People would be able to get their head around that easy enough, and that's where the name comes from. I probably went for I don't know how long it went on there, but I was so disinterested in Twitter. It was such a sort of it nosedived in its value, I think, for quite some time. And so I only used it for a couple of years there to post ridiculous rap names.
Yeah.
And maybe that was mostly for my own amusement, but that's pretty much, if you go through my Twitter, you'll see that for some period there, maybe up till, from like 2018 to 2020, somewhere around there, that is all I did was post silly rap names. And
do you have a favorite?
Oh, I don't have one that stands out in my mind, but I remember there was a motif that I liked. I was making up really ridiculous titles, like what would I say, like royal titles that were like rap names, and I cannot remember any of them in specific, but they were very long and funny, in my opinion.
There was one other question that's interesting. Do you remember? I think he said it. What was like your first rap name?
Well, I mean, yeah, I went by the name that I was known by in my neighborhood. And,
okay.
I don't really get into that stuff too much.
Yeah.
Those stories aren't just mine to tell.
Yeah, sure.
But I believe I had like some variations of Barfly, like some rough drafts. There was prior to Barfly, I remember trying out Charlie Booze.
That's a good one though.
And honestly, pretty much there are so many derivatives of Barfly that friends call me. I get called Fliz. Henri called me Flood. Oh gosh, so
is Flood like from Barfly, like?
Yeah, Fliz, Floods.
Yeah, that's where that came from. Because
Barfiddle.
Barfiddle.
A bunch of silly ones that would get tossed around, and obviously Barf Loko. I don't think anyone really ever called me that.
Yeah.
You know how rap names go. Most of them, I think, are things people call themselves. I don't know.
Yeah, I had a real shitty one. One time my rap name, it was my gang rap name. It was Cross G, KROSS -G.
Nice.
And if I can find some of that music somewhere, it is so thug. Like it is straight up off the street bullshit, gang shit with heavy metal guitars on it.
Oh yeah, nice.
But yeah, maybe I can try to find some of that and play a clip here.
When they see me coming, they just run. This Cross G's got the motherfucking shotgun. Because when shit gets deep, I'll be damned if I don't blow your book ass to the concrete. And yes, fool, you think you're strong. Cross G's in the house, so bring your shit on. Yes, fool, let's get all crazy. I hear voices in my head when I'm lonely.
Well, thanks, Sage Francis, for getting in a social media alert with Barfly. All right. Well, yeah. You know what? I do need to get you with a factoid, and then I'll let you get out of here. Here's your useless fact. Okay. In 393 AD.
393 AD.
Yep.
Okay.
Emperor Theodosius banned the Olympics because the Olympics were originally a pagan festival. Back then, they contained sacrifices, also with the sport, and there were things like that came with the festival, like artistic happenings, new writers, new paintings, new sculptors. There were fire eaters, palm readers, and prostitutes. So it was Emperor.
It was a good time.
Yeah, and Emperor Theodosius was part of the Christianity, so that was very pagan. So he was like, "We're getting rid of the Olympics." They took place every 4 years, starting way back in 776 BC to 394 AD.
I think that's. I'm gonna go look into that today. That's amazing, and I just want to comment. Anything Romans wrote about pagans, grain of salt.
Yep.
I don't know how much I believe in pagan sacrifice. The Romans worship a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Human sacrifice, or even like
no, I don't. I didn't say anything. I didn't say
not you.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. You don't think that they sacrifice almost anything, not an animal, or are you thinking human?
I'm reluctant to believe in whatever libels they put on those people. You know, they're hegemon, and they are syncretic, and I think they will gladly. The Romans would gladly name you for the fouls that they would do.
Yeah, I believe that. Oh, you know what?
You couldn't control them, so they painted them extra.
That's what they. Yeah, that's what they.
Right. Meanwhile, they're worshiping a sacrifice, but sacrifice. Right. You know, they're like, but look at these. Look at these country folk, and they're sacrificing. Okay. Yep.
What's a really great word?
A really great word.
I love the word vernacular, so that's mine.
Ooh, I like that word. Let's see. No, I wasn't ready to answer this.
I know, sorry.
Great word.
Well, how about this? Because I need to start asking all the guests, because I use awesome way too much, because I don't. What's a better word than awesome? Or another word? What's another word that's like the word awesome that I can start using?
I like telling people something's terrific.
Ah, terrific. Yeah, I'm writing it down. Really, I'm going to start writing them down, because I go I think in the episode that airs tonight, I say awesome like 10 times in a row, and Adrian's like, "Is it awesome?"
I've got one for you. What is a better word than saying excited? I don't like saying can't wait. But that's like my go-to for not saying excited, because I just feel so thoughtless when I'm really excited to do this with you, blah blah blah.
I every once in a while find in written response I use thrilled. Yeah. I don't think I use it like in an actual, when I'm having a conversation. My written is way more. I have a huge vocabulary in my written, but when I'm talking, I don't use any of it.
Me too. It's
looking forward to.
Ah, yes. I like that.
Tones it down a little.
Also, they can't wait too. Like you go, well, you're gonna have to wait.
Excited.
I'm thrilled. Looking forward to. Yeah, that's a good.
That's kind of formal.
Well, someone will message in the comments and let us know for either one of those. A replacement for awesome, and a replacement for excited or looking or can't wait. All right. Well, I appreciate having you on. Oh, you know what? Do you want to do an FMK real quick?
Sure.
FMK. Fuck, marry, kill, or fight, marry, kill.
Okay.
Judd Nelson, Craig T. Nelson, and Willie Nelson.
God damn, dude. Well, let's see. I'm gonna fight Judd like his dad in Breakfast Club. Yeah. And wow, man.
Wait.
Now you're either killing Coach or Willie Nelson.
I feel awful about killing Craig T. Nelson because he's great.
Yeah.
But I gotta marry Willie.
That's right. Keep him around. Yeah.
And you can't kill Willie Nelson anyway, otherwise something would have.
All right. Well, before we let you go, what is how do you prefer people to know what's happening from your camp? Where do they go to get your books, or to see what's coming up from you, get your music? What's the preferred method for your preferred method?
It's really easy to find me. I don't trust all of these other platforms enough to put my music there. So you can find anything I have in terms of, you can buy my novel, you can buy my comic book, you can buy my music from concussedcreations.com. That's Rob Castro in Seattle. He's a longtime collaborator and friend, an entirely trustworthy person. I appreciate everything he does. And if you just want to keep up with me and whatever I'm doing, the only platform you're really going to find me engaging on is Instagram, and my handle there is @Barf Loko. But it is such a dicey proposal.
Sure.
Staying clear of the censors on these platforms. You know, I got removed from Facebook some 5 years ago over nothing, and I had no recourse. And this is you know, this is the condition for so many artists that I know, you know, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Man, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Oh, you know what I wanted to ask you?
Yeah.
Sorry. Are you still friendly with all the peeps in Oldominion?
You know, it's different. It's a very big crew, and within that crew there are ostensibly factions, you know,
Sure.
And I honestly don't keep in touch with most of them. I keep in touch with Sleep primarily. But I love all of them, and I miss all of them, you know, and and you know, every now and then I have occasion to speak with the one or more of them for some reason or another over the internet or whatever. Occasionally I hear from Smoke. But yeah, they're
Oh shit! I didn't even mention Smoke in the intro, and that's someone I definitely know of. I went in the intro. I was speaking about there's so many people in Oldominion, and I really only know certain names from it. But I guess the reason I was asking that is I really like that. I like the Candies 22 music.
Mm-hmm.
I was ever wondering if there's ever going back and making music with anybody that you made music with in the past.
I'm open to make music with any of the people from Oldominion. That's just family life gets really to be the primary thing, and so a lot of them just don't have time for those sort of antics anymore. But Exostereo, we still make music together regularly. We just haven't put anything out in so long. But we have 2 albums in the can, honestly, and I was just down there visiting him in Southern Oregon last month. He is one of my closest, longest friends, and we don't even at this point, we don't even have to involve music in what we're doing to hang out. Honestly, we usually don't.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Well, you should get out of the habit of not releasing.
I know, because I want it. That's what I was saying. Like, I'm so intrigued when you talk about this other music that you have.
Yeah, with
hidden.
Hyena, the experimental kind of stuff.
I want it so bad.
I love.
He's going to be so happy to hear that. Yeah, we actually have been discussing. We even have sort of a deadline. We want to have the Inhalant stuff, and it's seriously like about 4 albums worth of stuff. We want to have that ready for release by June. We do want to do that, and Exostereo and I are currently working on getting the new Candies 22 stuff ready for release as well. We're eager to have people hear that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Terrific, awesome. All those words apply. Thanks again for joining us. It was really a pleasure having a chat with you. And I want to thank this guy, Andy McElmore, for being one of the first people reaching out and saying, have you guys asked Barfly to be on the show? He's a longtime listener of our show, and he's the first one that brought it up. And then suddenly more people started asking all of a sudden. So I want to thank him, and I want to thank you for joining us.
And thank you for the package.
Yeah, very much.
Pleasure's all mine. And shout out to Andy McElmore. He's a great guy.
Thanks for joining us on the show. We really appreciate your time, and I appreciate your music and your writing. I'm going to finish that book. I can't believe it, but I'm going to.
That's so great. Thank you. Hi, Adrian. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Thanks.
My name is Barfly, ain't afraid to admit it. Taking out your mamas and your aunts and your sisters. Yo, it's 2 tacos for $2 Tuesday. Elroy out smoking them tires for a goose egg.
You know how when we're like getting ready for a show, I guess there's maybe, I don't know how what your prep is. I'm not
My
judging
prep
it, but
is
I
show up.
Yeah, that's what I didn't want to say that, but I think that's probably how yours is. But I have my imagination. I run through conversations in my head, and I have an imagination of what someone's going to be like or something, a preconceived idea. Or not even, it's not that I'm trying to, it's just how I play out this. Before we have the discussion with them, they are a character to me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I play out their character in my head. Was not at all what he yeah, not at all. And
Me
probably
neither.
a lot of.
I thought we were talking to a comedian today.
Well, I think some of it was this character in this book of his. And I was kind of fearful. Remember before we went into the conversation with Soul? I had this notion that he was like, just everything was going to be about like anarchy, socialism, all of that, and I was kind of like scared that it didn't turn out to be that way at all.
Yeah.
We've been doing this long enough now that I've since been able to let that go the minute we start having a conversation. So it was a real pleasure, and I wouldn't even have brought up the book if I didn't if I haven't been reading it. I wouldn't even have mentioned it. I would have just said thanks for sending the book, but I really am reading it, and it's really good.
I was unclear. Is it one character who's winding everybody up?
Yeah.
Well, it might change as you get into it. That sounded a lot like my pardon me, my stepdad. He would, except for what my stepdad would do, he would like set up all the dominoes and just kind of nick one and just watch them all fall and just kind of set back and watch chaos ensue.
Oh yeah, no, this character, he's spiteful. Like he's angry. Like he's the type of person he calls someone, like everyone to him is a blowhard or something, like, or not a blowhard, what, you know that term, like, oh, look at this blowhard, douchebag. This guy, everyone is a douchebag. And well, maybe not, I don't want to generalize the character, but he enjoys getting know-it-alls riled up or assholes riled up. Like he enjoys it. And
I'm looking forward to reading it while
I think
you're done.
No, I'm telling you, I think you're really gonna enjoy it.
I can already find myself relating to that type of person.
I know you will.
Not on necessarily my personal level, but having interactions with people like that. So. And
I'm glad that he mentioned it like how it is, because look at this. Here's a chapter, right? Chapter 4. It's 2 pages, and that's basically a whole situation. It's situational, like, yeah, and like it's good. I
do feel bad going like, wait, you rap?
No, don't.
That's echoing around my brain, going like, can I just rewind that?
I know. Well, you know what? I will start putting it into I send out a message to the guests to give them an idea of what the format of the show.
Adrian is a dummy
No.
and doesn't know anything.
It just gives them a format of like, here's possible things that come up. Here's how it goes. But I will put on there that.
Listen, I'm sure your email is probably so wordy.
It's not.
That you add any more.
I cut it back. But yes.
They know. They've probably watched. They'll probably watch before they come in.
I know some people are surprised, like, why? What, you didn't know what I do?
I know.
Well, like, well, no, that's the good part of it. That's not. It's not. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I really enjoyed that. And hey, listen, everybody, we're appreciative of you listening or watching our show. And well, and I forgot to ask that. I had the philosophical question was, being ignorant of one's own ignorance is very like we mostly know that, right? You know, like, but can one be ignorant? Can one be an ignorant esoteric thinker?
So I don't know this esoteric word.
Knowing about esoteric is like having knowing about hidden certain things that others don't know about. It's almost like almost like secret society, but not. But like having specific knowledge of things that are not on a grand scale. You know, like kind of like what am I trying to say? I'm not great at definitions.
I'm looking up the definition, and it says likely to be understood by only a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest. So
yeah, so like I get sometimes people will have conversations about some of the drawings I created and some of the symbolism in it and stuff like that. I have heard people give me the compliment of, "Oh wow, you're super esoteric," and I'm like, I'm clueless. Like these things just come out of me. So really they do. They just these drawings just come out of me. I don't know why I'm drawing it or anything. And so that was going to be my question to him. I wish I could have asked him. Can one be an ignorant esoteric thinker?
Sure. Why not? Yeah, because I don't know. You could be led off into other rabbit holes with these and then miss a bigger picture. It's easy. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hey, there's a question I was going to ask you at the first of the show. Does past actually exist as a thing?
A thing?
As like a time as
the past exists.
Or is it
past? Fossils that prove
No, I'm sorry. As a timeline, there
is isn't a line not real, or there's like.
Can you go back into the past?
No.
If it exists, if it's a stalled time, does that exist as a
if your name is Bill or Ted, can you go back in time?
Well, because Michael J. Fox did too. But that's what I'm asking, because there are theories that it does exist that scientists
Scientists just did a thing with a proton or some really sciencey thing to make it pass through, to change the scientific things of the atom or a proton, like a sciencey thing. So that when it passes through a crystal, I think that it
crystallized?
Can go slower it kind of goes back in time, but it's actually not really going back in time.
Not like
I think that theoretically they could change that so that it speeds it up, so it goes faster. Then
I saw that,
but I don't know.
But actually existing as there's another me.
No.
Living out the past.
I don't think there are other realms.
Yeah. No. All right. Well, check out all of Barfly's different music ventures. They're all good, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying they're different. He's got a different style.
Different.
He explains it in one of his interviews about he's like a little off, or something like someone like, what? Explain your style, and he's basically kind of like, I think I'm doing something that is not. Or I'm paraphrasing, but it's like off, and I like it. It's good. And check out his book, Wind Up Strangers in Bars. Winding up. Yeah. Winding Up Strangers in Bars. And then what's his website again? One more time.
Concuss Creations.
ConcussCreations.com. That's it. And then all of the things for artbyty.com and DOD45.com. So from all of us, unless Adrian, you have any final words?
Yeah, goodbye.
From all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy drawing, happy conversing, and thanks for conspiring with us. Peace.
Oh, was that your own?
Yeah.
Finally. Now you just have to find an opening one.
I do have an opening.
That's your own.
It was.
Okay, goodbye.
Mahalo. I mean, I didn't come up with that.
Okay, goodbye.
Samoan, but...
Is it? I thought it was Hawaiian.
No, it's Samoan. Mahalo.
Oh.
Hawaii. The other episode I did it in Hawaiian.
Oh.
What's the Hawaiian one? Mahalo. That's Hawaiian.
Right. Okay.
Samoan informal greeting. Mahalo.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
DOD45.
Thank you for joining in on yet another episode of the DOD45 Show. Please hit the subscribe or follow button so that you never miss an episode. You can even go one step further by leaving us a review on the YouTube stream or on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever it is that you stream our show from. You can find me at Art by Ty on all the socials or at artbyty.com. And if you'd like to follow the DOD45 Show on social media, we're at DOD45W on Instagram, or you can go over to our website at DOD45.com where you can shoot us an email, join our mailing list, and watch all of our past episodes. Consider joining us for a live chat on the YouTube premieres of episodes every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Peace.